Hello, and thank you for joining us. We're honored to have you with us this evening. That we can present our work to you is really our pleasure. My name is Sarah Meyers, and I am a class of 2012 alum, MBA Sloan. And today I am the Education Program Manager at ESI.
Hi, everyone. My name is Laur Hesse Fisher. I'm a program director at ESI. ESI stands for the MIT Environmental Solutions Initiative. It was established 6 years ago to mobilize MIT's capacity to address climate change and other environmental challenges. We're an MIT initiative, so we work across all 5 schools and the college. So ESI champions research, education, and engagement in its 3 domain areas: climate science and solutions, solutions for a circular economy, and sustainable urban solutions. Tonight, Sarah and I are going to briefly showcase 2 of the ways that we equip key members, key audiences with new tools for sustainable thinking, our educational work at MIT, and our programs for advancing public understanding of climate change. And if you have any questions, please feel free to submit them through the Q&A feature of Zoom, and we'll get to them in about 10 minutes. So Sarah, take it away.
Great, thanks, Laura. So there are really 3 goals that I would like to highlight in the education realm for ESI. So the first one is to provide the most engaged students, those students on campus who are most passionate about climate, environment, and sustainability issues, with the opportunities to grow into tomorrow's leaders. So these are the leaders on campus today, and we need to empower them, elevate them to be leaders in environment and sustainability for in the real world. So I'm going to give 2 examples of this. One is that we offer an environment and sustainability minor, where students can take core classes plus choose from over 120 classes across campus as electives. And another example of this is the Martin Fellows program, where graduate students, 10 graduate students every year, are awarded a full year of funding to further their research in environment and sustainability. The second goal for ESI is to infuse sustainability into the mainstream. So it's critical that it's embedded systemically, not a boutique learning just for the few. So it's the side effects from business as usual that got us into this problem in the first place. So to date, ESI has infused sustainability topics into the GIRs, which some of you may remember. But just to remind you, these are the introductory classes in chemistry and physics, in math, and in biology. Over 6,000 students have been exposed to environmental topics through these classes, spending over 50,000 hours on environment and sustainability issues and problem sets, lectures, and recitations. This has really seeded a movement on campus. And so, for example, in the coming fall semester, in the introductory thermodynamics class for mechanical engineering students, a doctoral student and his advisor are creating a curriculum that requires students to think critically about the societal and climatological impacts of the course materials. It asks students to learn how to incorporate sustainability metrics like carbon intensity and global warming potential into their analyses of thermofluid systems. So our third goal is to bridge the gap between theory and practice. We know that it's not enough to just make a new widget in a lab. There's no silver bullet. So we need to recognize how climate and environmental and sustainability plays out and is implemented in the real world. We want students to think about the environmental impact of their potential employers and how students themselves can get involved. So 2 examples of this. One is, you can see on the slide here, last summer, we decided to have the Career Fair Sustainability Initiative, where students could look up emissions information about the companies where they would potentially be interviewing. They could look at answers to questions that we asked of companies. And most importantly, we provided them with questions that they could pepper their interviewers with. and really with the goal that there would start a conversation. So a second example of how we're trying to bridge this gap between work and learning is we're running a 3-unit course this summer called Experiential Sustainability, where you're really examining the frameworks in governance and science and social science around the summer internship or the research or whatever it is the student is doing over the summer, so that they can process using a sustainability lens whatever it is that they are going through, that they are learning. So Laur, I'm turning this over to you.
Thanks, Sarah. All right, great. So in MIT's Plan for Action on Climate Change, the Institute committed to telling the climate story to the public, and ESI fulfills and expands upon this commitment. So we've developed 3 key tools to reach people who are already curious about climate change and who want to find trusted resources that they could share with others in their lives. So it all starts with climate.mit.edu, which is on the left-hand side there, which is what we call the MIT Climate Portal. So it's live. You can go and visit it right now if you'd like. Visit today. The Climate Portal has become MIT's primary source of news and resources on climate change, as well as the go-to resource for the public on climate information from MIT. The site features easy to read, science-based explanations of climate change topics, as well as Q&As with MIT experts. You can also find a snapshot of the research and the work that's happening at the Institute on climate, also including events, involved departments and labs and centers and groups, competitions, and a lot more. And from there, you can listen to Today I Learned Climate, which is ESI's podcast on climate change. We nickname it TIL Climate after the hashtag. That's the second column there. TIL Climate episodes are 10 minutes long, and we work with scientists and experts to demystify really complicated, complex climate change topics. We have over 20 episodes that are out right now. We have people listening from over 160 different countries. It was featured by New York Times as a top 3 climate change podcast. And earlier this year, we were pleased to win a Platinum AVA Digital Award. The third tool I want to share with you is what we call the Climate Primer. That's the third one there. It's climateprimer.mit.edu. It's based on a primer that was written by Professor Carrie Emanuel at Earth, Atmospheric, and Planetary Sciences. We took that content and we made an interactive, beautiful website that leads people through the climate science, risk, and solutions through 11 different chapters. And we were excited to win a Webby Award for that website just last year. And we're already seeing it being used by educators in classrooms in the United States. And in fact, for all of these tools, we're investing in working directly with high school educators to help them access credible climate information that they can easily plug into their classrooms. ESI also works to engage Americans who are unsure, they're disengaged or doubtful about the need to act on climate change. We do this through a project that we call Here and Real, which connects climate science and solutions with people's lived experiences, their values, and their priorities. So we do this in 2 different ways. First, we work on the ground in US regions, in particular, those that produce coal and gas. So Greene County, Pennsylvania, you can see in the image there, it's in the lower southwesternmost corner of Pennsylvania. It's the heart of coal mining in the state. So through Here and Real, MIT students spent time in the region analyzing the local coal and gas industry and what's in store for the future. The students produced a white paper, which is live on our site. But first, they worked with a local organization to share these findings with the community, including at 3 summer county fairs and door-to-door canvassing. We've also worked in the state of Wyoming, which supplies 40% of US's coal and whose economy also depends on tax revenues from fossil fuels. ESI brought together the governor's office, the state university, as well as faculty and researchers from across MIT to explore what climate change means for the state economically, as well as avenues to grow the state's economy while lowering CO2 emissions. So what's next are collaborations in advancing hydrogen technology, clean energy storage, and even non-combustion uses for coal. And that image on the right-hand side is our joint press release that we put out last year. In addition to our on-the-ground work, Here in Real has opened up a fellowship for journalists in local newsrooms across the country. The fellowship will support these journalists in developing a high-impact news project that features lived experiences and local perspectives and voices in order to connect climate change with their audience's priorities and with their values. And we'll be announcing the fellows in April. So the first is, invite you to all sign up for our newsletter. esi.mit.edu/subscribe is that URL. We put out a really great weekly newsletter with snapshots about what ESI is doing, as well as a really great summary of environment work that's happening across the entire institute, opportunities, events, new research that's come out, what we're reading. So I recommend that piece. And then I already mentioned about climate.mit.edu and TIF Climate. The thing is that people don't talk, even people who are worried and concerned about climate change don't talk about climate change with people in their life. And it can make an incredible difference to make climate change part of a normal thing to talk about that people don't shy away from. That's just obvious, it's a fact, and it's just, something that can be brought up casually and mentioned as a fact, a reality of that we're dealing with. So if you want to equip yourself with more things to talk about, then I invite you to check out those resources. And then also, if you'd like to donate and contribute to the work that we're doing in advancing ESI's capacity to motivate and mobilize the MIT community on these challenges, then please do esi.mit.edu/donate.
Great. So on that note, I have dozens of quotes from students, and I wanted to share one with you to give you a sense of what the experience is like for them to take all of these classes and learn alongside their other majors. So they're majoring in mechanical engineering and computer science and everything that you imagine that an MIT student studies. So this quote is from a student who is in computer science. I decided to do the environment and sustainability minor because I wanted to broaden the scope of my studies. Doing this minor has been the best part of MIT, taking all of these different classes. I wanted to learn about things that I've never been exposed to before, that made me think about the world in different ways. This was the common theme in all of my environment and sustainability classes. It's a good experience for me to step out of my comfort zone. And I wanted to do this at MIT because I can start figuring out how to impact the world for the better. So again, on that note, we wanted to thank you for being here with us. If you'd like to donate to any of these programs that you heard about this evening, you should go to the website at esi.mit.edu/donate. Thank you so much for sharing this time with us.
And thanks to all the people who are joining from all around the world at all times of the day and night. Really glad that you were able to join us.